The Emerald Dream in World of Warcraft has been hinted at since the game's very inception, but has never once been fully included in the game. Over almost 2 decades, there have been many hints as to what the Emerald Dream looks like, and it's also been teased throughout WoW's development. Finally, while writing this script and editing this video, the Guardians of the Dream patch 10.2 is set to release on November 7th, and we can truly, finally visit the Dream and explore when it releases. The other expansion that really provided insight to the Emerald Dream was World of Warcraft's arguably best expansion since Wrath of the Lich King, of course, Legion. The Emerald Dreamway is one example of this, but the Emerald Nightmare is the most significant addition to the Emerald Dream from WoW's conception until 10.2. After you destroy Xavius and eliminate the Nightmare, you are teleported to the Emerald Dream itself, a new sector of the Dream that exists nowhere else. That is what we are exploring today. There is no map here, it is just the Emerald Dream, which honestly makes sense, as the Emerald Dream is theoretically always changing. Let's look at how to perform the glitch. Now, lately I've been heavily using the major glitch that allows me to go pretty much anywhere, but I also wanted to try to show everyone how to perform this glitch and get out of bounds to explore the Emerald Dream for themselves. This is really easy to do, as you can go to almost any edge of the map and use Metamorphosis to jump past the boundary. But you will learn very quickly that this isn't as simple as getting out of bounds and then exploring. As you can tell, I can't even get over to those beautiful dreaming dragons. No matter what I do, I can't go any further. I tried another area over in this section of the zone, and there are the same issues. Here's the thing. I want to be able to show this area off to you, and if I strictly just show off maps that everyone can explore, this channel would not be able to fulfill its true purpose, exploring every single area I can in World of Warcraft, exploring and exposing all of Blizzard's secrets. Well, all of the World of Warcraft development team's secrets or laziness, whichever. So as I must, I will be using the glitch to show the rest of this beautiful zone, and now I cannot show you the glitch. Let's start off with these dragons in the distance. I am pretty sure that these are dragon spirits that are, they're in the Emerald Dream, and I know that Ysandre, is that it? Ysandre was certainly overcome by the Nightmare, and I think the other dragons were part of her forces. Wasn't Ysandre a world boss at one point? I can't really remember. I didn't play Classic WoW, and I really didn't do a whole lot of raiding when I was in Burning Crusade. Anyway, these dragons are super peaceful, but they can't really be interacted with. The water around here is incredibly green, but nothing else was very noteworthy until later on. We'll get to that later. First, I want to explore the outer edges of the map. Just behind the dragon spirits is the edge of the map where we can see some weird textures as well as a ton of vines and trees that are unreachable. It's a pretty cool looking area. The view from underneath is absolutely astounding. There is so much going on here. This tree is massive, and I think that these tree models might be unique to the Emerald Dream / the Emerald Dreamway. Not really sure about that. Once we get to the more northern side of the map, you can see that the zone is absolutely massive. Well, it's about as large as the Dreamway, but you'll see a strange island in the distance. I went ahead and shared this on my Patreon, which you can see more screenshots for upcoming videos. Now, it takes a very long time to explore the area, as I'm only limited to the Infernal Strike to get around. Now, when I finally get farther away from the main area, the sky changes back to this nightmare skyline. It looks way more ominous, which is so contrast to the Emerald Dream. It kind of shows that the Emerald Nightmare is just encapsulating the dream. Looking over the edge does not yield much more than what I saw at the other edge, just a different skyline, which makes it look a little crazier. After I went under this tree, the skyline went back to normal. Nothing crazy, but it is interesting to see how choppy the skyline is. It's just kind of all over the place. In front of us, you can see that the area is completely flat. Let's see what the area has to show us. As we move along the flat area, you can see that there are some strange textures. So let's head to those. I personally love seeing paintbrush techniques in out-of-bounds areas. While they certainly are not unique to this instance out-of-bounds areas, as there are plenty of other areas that I've seen in my small time exploring that have these, it still highlights the amazing detail that the developers have. Using these yellow, blues, and greens in this particular texture, it almost looks like the area is glowing gold, which is pretty impressive. A bit weird to be in the middle of a random field. A bit further on, there's a strange platform that's textureless with a dark green section after that. A bit weird to be in the middle of the field, but just past that the sky turns back to the nightmare skybox. When I got to the outer edge of the map, I realized that there was no way for me to reach the island at all, so I used the sea mist potion glitch, and I found that this is possibly the Emerald Dreamway, but I'm not entirely sure about that. It just looks like it because there's like multiple areas on it. After continuing the exploration around the edges, I found an even cooler paintbrush area. This is actually incredibly resemblant of the Emerald Dreamway. There's these little squares out there in that out of bounds area as well. I actually have an exploration of that if you want to see it. There are a bunch of paint squares here, and these are incredibly neat, but let's continue on. From this view, we can see that some of the trees are floating, which is not wholly unexpected, but it does look strange from this view. We can also see a very strange object on a mountain, more on this later. At the next edge, another giant landmass randomly appeared. I really wasn't expecting this. I thought there might have only been one. So I used the sea mist potion glitch once again, and it seems to be incredibly far off. And through this discovery, I can all but confirm that the entire Emerald Nightmare is on one giant map. I was not sure about this before, as I only saw one area with another island on it, but now I'm definitely more convinced that this is the case. At the southern edge of the map, there's some weird textures, and looking under the map is always pretty neat, but there surprisingly wasn't much to see here at all. It was literally just those mountains. Let's take a look at some of the details surrounding the Emerald Dream area, meaning that we're going to close in on the Emerald Dream. When getting closer to it, there seems to be a green mist, which you won't really... I mean, you'll kind of notice while you're in the instance, but it's much more prominent when you're outside of it. I then start to explore the hilly area, and we can get a better look at the weird structure in the background. Getting close to it, it actually looks like a metal staff, which is strange. It's probably supposed to be wood or stone, but it almost looks metallic to me. Maybe from a distance it looks like stone. Either way, it's weird to see something like this in the Emerald Dream. At least I haven't seen much like it. Usually there's a stone giants or whatever, but there's not much else. The center has a black wire in it, almost like a dream catcher, which makes sense. Other than that, there are some cool lighting effects with the green mist and some weird textures on the mountains. I also climbed on some trees hanging from the cliff sides. There were also 2 light bulb plant things out here as well. We can also climb around these structures here, but these are already objects that you can see while you're in the regular area, so I don't want to spend too much time on them. We've now made a complete circle around the inner area. Let's take a look at this final piece in the out of bounds exploration and inspect this bizarre water. You know, my videos, if you watch them, I like bizarre water. It really just interests me a lot for some reason. This is actually water. I did test it. You can swim in it, but you cannot fish in it, which is kind of disappointing. But it just has such a bizarre and sharp cutoff. It's really kind of strange. Finally, we are done with the Emerald Dream exploration, and that means that I have officially explored the entire Emerald Nightmare raid. This has been a nightmare of a project, but I really have enjoyed exploring the massive conglomerate of bizarre and twisted zones. This is the biggest project other than the Caverns of Time that I ever did on this channel, so it's just it's been crazy. If you also enjoyed this series, then leave a like so I and YouTube also know, and if you want to support further, check my Patreon and the link below. Thank you for watching. Also, a huge shout out to Squiggalicious for supporting at the Exalted Uncrafter level on my Patreon. Thank you so much.